Now let's get lively.
Massive news out of the UFC this week. So, UFC 291 for him.
Yeah.
Absolutely stacked. Beyond stacked, man. We'll just we'll go from like the actual bottom of the card here. This is the full main card. We've got Kevin Holland versus Michael Chiesa. Derek Lewis versus Marcos Lima. Stephen Thompson versus Michael Pereira. I believe Michael Pereira is like that Brazilian like capoeira fighter.
Probably done like the backflips.
Yes,
on the people.
he's
Yeah.
that guy. So he's fighting
Interesting.
Stephen Thompson, which is going to be,
Interesting.
dude, it's going to be fucking, like, that's just like a movie waiting to happen. We got Paulo Costa making his return against Ikram Aliskerov. Haven't heard that name, but he looks Russian, looks like he wrestles, and looks intimidating.
This mean Costa will be taking a break from his tweet.
Yeah, 100%. He's going to have to take a week
Or
off
is
at
he-
least, you would assume.
He's still going to be a savage online.
Oh, dude.
He just fucks cunts
I
up
swear
all the
we
time.
need to just
It's
like
funny.
compile like at the end of the year, we need to like do like a top like 10 or top 20 of like Costa's best tweets, like by vote of consensus. They're all just
Yeah.
fucking gold.
I don't know. I just sometimes it like sort of annoys me when he tries to get onto like Adesanya's back though. It's like, bro, that man literally humped you in the middle of the octagon. Like, if there's one person you can't like put shit on it, that guy.
Oh, 100%.
There's footage of him literally like humping your ass like, in the middle of the octagon.
Oh yeah, man. Like he just, yeah, like that was one of the best celebrations of all time. Probably need to add like a list of like Izzy celebrations as well because there's been some good ones of those this year.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Anyway, we'll get to him in a second, but we'll get through the rest of this card here. We got fucking Mr. DUI himself, Tony Ferguson, returning against Bobby Green. That should be a good fight, man, because like we discussed, neither of them have anything to lose.
Bobby Green's a savage.
Yeah, 100%. They're both just absolute savages.
Makes for a good competition, that fight, even though it's 4-0. Like the whole card, just all evenly matched, I feel.
Yeah, pretty much. They all are so far until we get to this next fight, which is just like it could go one of either ways, which we sort of think it's going to go pretty much one way. But we got Jan Blachowicz versus Alex Pereira.
Yeah, bro. Jan just does what he done to Izzy.
Exactly. Yeah, he just
I feel.
wrestle fucks him.
Yeah, pretty much. Just takes him down, wears him out. Probably ground and pounds him, I feel.
I mean, you got to sort of account for the fact that Pereira is going to be training with Glover for that period of time, so he's going to have some good form of defense. But Blachowicz is like an elite wrestler, man. Like it's different.
And I suppose as well, Pereira's naturally bigger than that anyway, so probably interesting to see. Like Pereira will be at like 225 coming into the fucking cage that night.
100%.
Like it's gonna be a bigger Pereira than we've seen versus Izzy.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's going to be able to like maybe not even bigger, but yeah, most likely bigger and more able to rehydrate to that weight.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's gonna be able to get back to his walking around weight
Yeah.
before fight time because he would have been entering the cage at like at least 205.
Yeah,
for Izzy.
exactly. Or probably even more, you would say.
When you consider the next day he's like walking back around at 220.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The weight that he manages to put back on.
Like, yeah, I feel he'll probably be bigger than Jan, so it makes that fight actually more interesting. But yeah, I just feel like Jan tries to take him down and wear him out that way.
Yeah, it really does.
Izzy showing that he could do that to Pereira in the first fight?
Yeah, 100%. But you know, there's a couple of like little discrepancies in the sense that like, Pereira is going to come in a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. So
Yeah, it could be who lands first.
remains to be seen how that goes. But we got a fucking banger of a main event on that card. We have Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje for the BMF belt.
Well deserved, as Islam said. I feel like if there's two men at the moment that deserve that title, it's probably them two.
Oh, 100%.
I feel like even the losers should just get one of them belts anyway because they mean fuck all. Like BMF, like they're both bad motherfuckers, man.
Oh, yeah, they are both like two of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet.
Oh yeah, if Gaethje, like, I don't know, he gets caught in the fight, like he just loves it that much that like he gets excited when it's actually a brawl. If he was able to keep his head like screwed on like Poirier does,
Yeah, that could be
I
the
don't think he
diff.
would
Like
have had a loss yet.
that could really be the difference in between like who controls the fight really. Like, is Poirier going to get sucked into a firefight with Gaethje because he's also sometimes that kind of person, or
But even if he does, he's more calculated.
yeah, that's also true.
He's more calculated in their moments than what Gaethje is.
Yeah, Gaethje will just swing for the fences when he sees blood.
Yeah, where Poirier, you can still tell there's purpose to like his combinations and shit. Still,
Mm-hmm.
he showed that with Chandler.
Speaking of, did you see any of the press coming around the Katie Taylor fight with Conor McGregor?
Not really, no.
So apparently, he said in that well, I watched the interview. He did say in the interview that like next week sometime is when they're looking at making an announcement for his comeback fight. And apparently, he's done with all the USADA stuff, but USADA haven't said anything about it. So that also remains to be seen.
Suppose we'll hear from them through the
Did
week.
you see him ringside at the Taylor fight? Dude, he
Yeah,
looks
I did.
terrible.
He always looks terrible. Been doing too many bags and fucking drinking too much.
Oh,
beer.
100%, man. Like, if you listen to him in that Helwani interview, it's just like, I've been around enough people on it to understand that you were on it.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. It's one of them things, man. Who can blame the bloke? Like,
Yeah, exactly. He's made that much money.
but 10 years ago, he was in fucking, what, 10, 15, not even 15 years ago. He was like still living in fucking housing commission.
Yeah, exactly.
Essentially. Over in Ireland. And now he's worth what? Nearly $1 billion fucking dollars?
Yeah, he's worth so much money, like just ungodly amounts of money.
And like, I know that's a quick amount of time to be worth that much when you were fucking on the dole, essentially.
When you were fucking dirt poor, yeah.
Like, on the dole doing a fucking, like a plumber's apprenticeship or something as well. And then pull out of that.
Loma's already in the ring. I didn't even see his walk.
Yeah. Fuck. They're each on heaps of
Oh,
highlights.
yeah, they are showing highlights. But yeah, well, if what was I gonna say? If you watch there's a new documentary that's on Netflix called McGregor Forever. It's like a 4-part kind of thing. It's essentially a carry on from Notorious.
I remember you saying something about this the other day in the car.
It's a pretty good watch kind of thing because it's like you don't ever really get to see these like personal sides of him kind of thing. Like there's footage in the first episode of him going to like Brooklyn and carrying out the community service from the sentence of like throwing the dolly at the bus and all that kind of shit. And yeah, it just sort of like leads all the way up to like him breaking his leg and then like sort of ends around there. So it's like it's a good watch because like I said, it gives you like all of these personal sides, like shows him like with his family kind of thing. He's a good dad. Like, and he loves his kids kind of shit.
Oh, did you see that? Speaking of like, you're just talking about that thing. Have you seen the picture that's getting around? And I don't know if you'd seen any footage of McGregor's son driving that little Lambo.
With Aldo 13 seconds on the back of
Yeah,
it.
Aldo 1-3.
That's why he's funny because everyone's like, oh man, why is he still doing? Because it's funny. Like, he's petty and it's funny. Like, that's exactly why he did it. Like, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, like it's just one of them things that like, I don't know, just people that watch them sorts of programs, they just like so eagle-eyed and looking for shit. Like, who the fuck would have noticed that? I would have never picked it up.
Nah, God no. Like I was just like, oh, that's a cool little car, and then just like looking at other things. Like I never would have picked that up either.
Like even when I seen it, it was like Aldo 1-3S, and I was like looking at it like,
dude, it took me ages. I was looking at it, I was like,
what the fuck's that got to do
what?
with anything?
Oh, I couldn't tell what the D was. I was looking at it for ages. I was like, Aloo? I was like, Aldo. Oh.
Yeah, I was like, oh fuck. What a savage.
I was like, that's brilliant. But speaking of petty and funny, we got Loma making his ring walk here, so we'll get into our our last story before we call this fight. UFC 293 is coming to Sydney for him.
Yes, I feel we're gonna have to.
Oh, the boys will be there, 100% in attendance. And it remains to be seen. Obviously, Izzy's going to be the headliner, but it remains to be seen whether he's going to be fighting Dricus du Plessis or Bobby Knox.
I feel like it'd be Bobby Knox.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those things, man. It's one of, like we've explained before, it's one of those divisions that, like, you know, now that Pereira's out of it, especially, like, it goes Adesanya, then it's Robert Whittaker, then it's everyone else.
Yeah, like, I feel like du Plessis isn't, I don't feel like he's terrible, but I feel like Rob's better. Rob's better on the feet, more technical. The only person who can really beat Rob is Adesanya.
100%.
And there's only like I could watch one of them fights every day of the week, but there's only so many times you can have it for a belt in that division.
Do you think Whitaker wrestles a lot more this time?
Possibly, but I feel like
Also feels like he has to do it on the feet for his ego.
yeah, like the last fight wasn't.
The last fight was a lot closer, man.
Yeah, like it was.
The first fight was the KO, right?
Yeah, the first fight. I think that was in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And yeah, Adesanya caught him with that. I think it was a left hook, right hook combination and sat him down, and that was it.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And the last fight was like a real technical kickboxing match. And I feel like Izzy's takedown defense as well is like underrated.
Yeah, it kind of is. He's like, his body shape's weird, but he's probably extremely strong for the way that his body is shaped.
Especially at that weight.
But who do you think's winning on the co-main? Probably get a good couple of Australian fighters on there. Probably thinking people like Jimmy Crew, maybe get like Dan Hooker or something on there. I know he hasn't fought in a while.
Could get like Cara France. He's fighting.
He's fighting
June 4.
next week. Not next week, the week after.
Yeah, and then I think like the week after that, Rob fights on the 10th. I feel like.
Oh, so that's on the 10th as well. Actually,
Yeah,
hang on, let's check that out.
I feel Rob fights
what
on
do
the
we
10th
got?
versus Duplessis, and then because they said he'll only have like a 9-week turnaround or something like that.
Hang on. Oh no, what have I done here? We've got Dern versus Hill, Cara France Albazi, 289. It's not there. Fight night, Vittori versus Cannonier. Fight night, Emmett versus Tuporia. Strickland Magomedov, 290. Is it on the... No, it's not on
Possibly.
290.
No.
Home versus Silva. Aspinall versus Tybura.
Just put in like Whitaker.
It might be
and see what comes up.
Yeah, hang on.
I feel like it's in June sometime. They said something about only having about like a 9-week turnaround or something like that.
9th of July, UFC 290. Oh, okay. So it's on the Oh, so it's an International Fight Week. It just
Yeah,
hasn't
and
been put as part of that card yet. So he's on the same card as Volk. Volk versus Rodriguez at UFC 290.
yes, I think that's the co-main.
Oh, hang on.
Possibly.
Let me just go back. Fucking
Yeah.
scrolling through here. We've got both of them in the ring. We've done our fucking. Oh, no, it's not there. So the co-main for that is Marino versus Alejandro Pantoja.
Are you able to view the whole card at all, or just?
No, that's it. That's all that's on the card. As of like, that's what comes up on like the Google search when you do the UFC thing.